A European Union member defends the Chinese Communist Party, and Brussels tells Biden to be friendly with Communist Cuba and Vladimir Putin. Hello everyone and welcome to the second video of the day. I hope you're having a great evening. Unless you're watching it tomorrow morning, then good morning. The European Union are showing their true face. They are now demanding America and others to be friendly with Communist China, Communist Cuba and Russia. And in this video we're going to talk about the hypocrisy of some of the people in Brussels and in Germany as well. But before we start, just a quick reminder, we only have a few days left. What day is it? It is the 25th of January. You have about until the end of January to get your I Believe in Britain merchandise with a special discount that we have in January. Use the code Brexit10 and use the link in the description to get your latest I Believe in Britain merchandise until the end of January. Now, let's start by talking about the European Union. One of the members of the European Parliament, this fake parliament that they have, come out to say a lot of weird things about China and Hong Kong. Now, one of the Chinese state-funded media outlets have come out to actually boast about it on Twitter and say that Hong Kong is no longer a colony of Europe, according to a European Union member. And so, firstly, this channel, or this media and press outlet that they have, is linked to the CCP. Their bio on Twitter says, "We are public media for the public good. We don't pursue corporate interests unless the corporate is the CCP. Nor will we yield to the pressure of ideological oh my god, I can't even I just can't keep a straight face by just like looking at these people." So this is the outlet that's been promoting it. This is what this guy who's from Spain, one of the MEPs, has said, that the issue of Hong Kong is brought here for the umpteenth time. It's just an excuse. Every time in a plenary they can find one to talk about China. This debate reflects the colonial vocation of some groups that act as if Europe was still in. So, okay, colony of Europe is a whole different thing when you talk about the British Empire and the history of Hong Kong and Britain. Now, for some reason, these MEPs are coming out to claim that it was all Europe. First, it's a weird thing because usually they just want to find excuses to blame Britain and the British history. This time they're saying it was Europe. Oh, it was all of us. Yeah, we had Hong Kong. Yeah, I know. A lot of you did go to Hong Kong. There were a lot of other empires who had a lot of interests in Hong Kong as well. It wasn't just the British Empire. But when we talk about the recent history of obviously Britain giving Hong Kong to China, that's a whole different topic. But who is this guy exactly? This guy is a member of the European Parliament from Spain. He's literally a Spanish communist. Like Ash Sarkar, he's literally a communist. And it's interesting that, so I'm guessing this is an excuse for him and his people and his Spanish government to use that as an excuse to do all the weird things that they've been doing to the Catalans. These people don't really like sovereignty or independence or even democracy. Well, he's literally a communist. Of course, he's not pro-democracy. Ironically, he's an elected member of the European Parliament for a communist, but that's a whole different argument. This politician is from the United Left Coalition. Very, very credible, guys. Very credible. But it's not just about him, because the European Union have now told the new president of America to open up to Cuba, be friendly with Cuba. Because President Trump was very robust and closed more ties because of some dodgy things that happened in Cuba, especially with the Colombians. So now the European Union are saying that, the EU rejects the US trade embargo on Cuba, and we will continue to express this. So again, the European Commission are very concerned about these sanctions, and they've also debunked the recent US decision to list Cuba, as a sponsor of terror and horror and all that. But there was a reason. President Trump did it on the grounds that Cuba hosted events and meetings, and have meetings with the members of the Colombian National Liberation Army. These people are not good people. There was a reason that President Trump did this. Then the European Union are suddenly supporting the Cuban communists, saying that no, these sanctions are bad. We should just all be friends. We've lost the UK as a big partner. We need to be friends with Communist China and Communist Cuba. It doesn't really stop here. It gets worse and worse because Angela Merkel is now kicking off again with Joe Biden and America in general on the issue of Russian sanctions. President Trump was very robust on this issue as well. when it came to the trade links or lack of trade links between America and Russia. There's a lot of tensions going on with the pipes being built in a number of places, and Russia doing a lot of dodgy things as well. But it's actually Angela Merkel who's very much pro working with Russia at this point. And she's also said that, reacting to these sanctions, saying, I find these extraterritorial sanctions to be a measure that is not okay from my point of view. There will also be different opinions with the Biden administration. I don't think that from tomorrow on there will only be an agreement, but there will also be different opinions. So she's kind of hinting that she's confident that Joe Biden will take Angela Merkel's side on Russia. Don't be surprised. The Democrats have a weird and dodgy history. They might do a lot of things that, when it comes to foreign affairs, international affairs in general, are always counterproductive, destructive, and bad for the world and bad for America. That's why Donald Trump is the first person who did not start, as a president, did not start any international conflict. So well done, Donald Trump. But Joe Biden, let's see how that actually ends. So this is what's happening with Angela Merkel and Russia. And then obviously we have the European Union and China's new relationship. They want to be best friends. That's also dodgy. Even New Europe, the website, who are very friendly towards Brussels, they're kicking off. They're publishing articles saying that this agreement is a disaster for the West. They're not really listening, are they? So this is the latest that we have on this, and it's good to expose the European Union, because it's not just a coincidence, one case, one example. I just showed you a list of recent examples of what they're doing, what they actually believe in, and how this globalist elite are taking over the world, and they're going to allow China to be the superstate. So that's the biggest problem that we have. Now, it's Monday. We have received a lot of questions from the members. Let's go to some of them. Edward says, how long do you think the UK government can keep the lockdown going before the population kick off? So, yes, Edward, the issue of lockdown is still tricky, because I know that we do not trust opinion polls, but when we have constantly, comprehensively, a lot of opinion polls still showing that a big chunk of the population are still in favor, there's a reason for that. Yes, the way you phrase the question matters. Some of the questions basically say, do you care about public health? If you say yes, then that means you're pro-lockdown. Putting that aside, it's because initially the media and the establishment scared a lot of people. Now it's moved to a different phase. Now it's because this whole lockdown as a debate has become tribal. It's become so black and white that if you criticize the lockdown as a policy, that means you don't care about public health. People forgot that there are alternative routes, and people forgot that the government and WHO initially said that lockdown is not actually a solution. It's a short-term panic act to find a solution, which is now they have the solution with Oxford and Pfizer and all the others. Apparently, that's not enough. So I don't think people will actually kick off. There will be obviously a lot of people who are frustrated, but when we talk about the masses, also the Brits, we don't kick off. We're not French. But again, never say never, because if the government crosses the line, if we still have this lockdown until, I don't know, July, August or September, yes, expect an uproar. Let's go to Henry Collins, who says that if President Biden manages to implement a $15 minimum wage, would it ever be possible for future US administration to remove it? This is a problem that we are also facing in the UK, in the West in general, when left-wing parties like the Labour Party also get into power. They introduce a lot of interventionist measures, and some with good intentions apparently, but it's very difficult to then scrap them. Look at the NHS. How on earth are you going to be able to even reform the NHS? There are a lot of other issues as well. So I think that it will be very difficult. Every time you have a left-wing government, they introduce more interventionist measures, and it just stays around. It's difficult, for right-wing parties or politicians to come and scrap them. They can sometimes remove red tape and bureaucracy, but that's all they can do. But yeah, let's go to more questions from the members. If you want to be a member and send us questions, check out the link in the description. Become a member, you get a lot of perks. I'll explain at the end of the video. Tim Whittam, who is actually going to be joining us on our Wednesday video call, he says, "Good morning, Maya. We can talk about this when I see you and Lacey on Wednesday on the Zoom call. But how I wish we could exile Queen Nicola to the island of Elba so she can commune with the ghost of Napoleon." Okay, this is a policy, Tim, that you probably need to discuss with the Foreign Office, with Her Majesty's Foreign Office, because I don't think Queen Nicola is going anywhere. There is actually going to be a big video on this channel about Nicola Sturgeon tomorrow. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'm going to explain the whole thing tomorrow. It's completely chaotic. A Swift says, hello, any latest news about Kanzuk? Thank you very much. So Kanzuk, if you don't know, is this idea of a partnership between Canada, New Zealand, Australia and the UK, the old school partners of the Commonwealth, is actually getting closer and closer. The latest that we have is that Liz Truss is going to be finalizing the New Zealand trade deal in the upcoming days and weeks. That's perfect. And her intention is actually to create all these separate deals with Australia, Canada and New Zealand, and then bring them all around the table. And I think there's still a big campaign Kanzuk movement that's still going to push the government to do this. I know the Tory politicians are very much in favour in Parliament, but I think Kanzuk is going to be a big thing now that we have become an independent country, and now that America and the EU are going to be difficult to deal with. So I think this is going to be a good idea. Obviously on this channel, we'll keep you guys posted. Polly says, hi Maya, have you heard anything about Priti Patel doing something about the free speech bill? I heard Alex Belfield mention this something in a video, and also made me laugh on Kevin O'Sullivan show on Talk Radio, as someone from America was saying about Biden, saying he wanted to do 1 million vaccines a day, but Trump had already achieved about 946,000 a day. And the hypocrisy on the jabs, don't get me started on that, considering Trump actually funded directly the whole thing. They're not giving any credit to him. Priti Patel talking about the free speech bill. So on this channel, we already made a video a few days ago talking about Priti's new policy to actually reform or actually scrap the anti-free speech laws. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. Again, I know that we always say on this channel, I'll believe it when I see it, but it seems like the Home Office are very, very concerned about this, and they are definitely on it. So again, knowing how slow and incompetent the Home Office civil servants are, we'll probably have some sort of reform on free speech in the next 52 years. But at least apparently Priti Patel is really, really on it. So we don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. So next one is Paul Kelly. He says, do you think the special relationship with the UK and the US will be stronger or weaker under Joe Biden? Well, Paul, I think this relationship is going to be tricky because on the one hand, Biden wants to be this international statesman. So he wants to, come across as, I'm friendly with everyone. Look at me, leading America, the father of America, creepy uncle of America. But in reality, no. As I said in the last video as well, is this weird mentality that the Democrats have to be closer to the European Union and China is not really going to help us. So he might get into some sort of talks with the UK, but he's already said he doesn't want to get into any new trade deals with countries. That's why he said that I prefer if the UK rejoined the EU, because there's already an actual kind of agreement, not a proper TTIP agreement between America and the EU, but there's some sort of trade agreement. It's absolutely nonsensical. So I don't really think we are going to have a proper special relationship like Blair and Bush, for example. Those days are gone. Peter says, hi Maya, I am unhappy with the politically motivated French customs delay caused by to our hauliers at the Channel ports that is costing not only time and money, but is resulting in our dumping fresh fish. If Boris and co won't take this seriously, I think it's time that the British showed their displeasure by taking action against French products. There are better wines available from elsewhere, and we don't need their cheese or their motor cars. The problem is that, yes, there are a lot of delays being caused on purpose. It's all politically motivated by the European Union between Calais and Dover, but also the Irish border. There are a lot of issues in Northern Ireland as well, with products being delayed, deliveries. It's actually it's coming through France, but it's not French products. So the products can be from anywhere. So you can't just boycott the French wine. So a lot of items are coming from other places nearby, and they just go through Calais, for example. So that's the difficult part. We just need to kind of keep going with what we're doing as an independent country, and the EU will lose more if they keep trying to make things more complicated. It's the reason for the bureaucracy at the border is because of the EU. They want the paperwork. We don't want that. They introduced it. Peter McLean says, hi Maya and Lacey, do you know anything about France and Germany printing their own money, franc and the Deutsche Mark? Is the Eurozone going down? Does the EU know something that the rest of us don't? Seems a bit strange. So the latest I've heard is that yes, the French and the Germans, specifically the Germans, are printing money, but they're doing quantitative easing. They are printing, it's just basically creating fake money up in the air and for banks. And that's absolutely, it's going to backfire badly. It's not necessarily, their own currency, their own old school currencies. There are rumors, but I don't think they're actually doing that, because there's a lot of complications. Even if they plan to bring back their own currencies, it doesn't work like that. You can't just print it and be like, okay, we're ready. Eurozone's gone down. They have to go through a lot of processes, but they are printing money in a sense that the quantitative easing is the injection of it, which is creating fake money digitally, basically, in the banks. That's not really good anyway. Scott is one of our new members. Hello, Scott. Do you think places in East London, like Canary Wharf, will have a contrasting turnaround and office buildings turned into residential apartments due to everyone being able to work from home? Well, yes. If so, do you believe that this will benefit or be the demise to the area? There is a big problem now because of the culture we created in 2020 and now, that a lot of offices, a lot of industries and jobs, office jobs, could actually be done at home, technically speaking. Traders, for example, financial traders, they could technically just have a laptop at home. There are bad consequences. So I have friends, and I'm not going to expose names, but there are lazy friends who are so happy that they're working from home. Comfortable, they have the TV on, and they could get their work done. But it's not just about that, is it? Because there is a culture of going somewhere to work, commuting. There's a culture of supporting that local area. During your lunch break, you go outside in Canary Wharf, go to one of the shops or restaurants, actually contributing to the economy and supporting the local economy. That's going down. There's a culture, psychologically, mentality-wise, with mental health when it comes to the difference between being social and antisocial. We're already going through a phase in the 21st century with our mobile phones and everything and all these apps and everything, that we don't even talk to friends. Sometimes we go to pubs with friends and all of us, we just sit around on our phones instead of talking to each other. That's already a problem. And if you create a culture where people are working, but they're not really talking to each other, that's even worse. So, but in terms of the buildings, I'm not really sure. There's already a lot of residential spaces. Something will happen. These offices will either turn into other jobs. Not instantly, it will take years, or some of them will have to come back or just sell them and it will be empty buildings. We don't know. So they might turn into social housing. You never know. If it's up to city, can't. That's all the time we have. It's been 18 minutes. So thanks again for all the members for sending all your questions. As I said, if you want to become a member, you can obviously get involved with our weekly Q&As, but also the Wednesdays video calls with me and Lacey. And the weekly video podcasts that will be coming back, I promise. I'm also introducing Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's a messaging board where we can actually have the subscribers. So it's not just for the members. We're going to have a channel for the members where it's like a forum where we could just talk to me directly and talk to each other, share ideas. Also for the subscribers, an open platform as well. It will be obviously good to have you guys there. I will introduce that very soon. As I said earlier, don't forget to get your I Believe in Britain merchandise as soon as possible, because we have the January sale, Brexit 10. That's the discount code. You have until the end of Jan to use that. Check out the link in the description. Get your merchandise. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.